Good morning. It's April 5th, 2023, I think. Don't hold me to that because we are actually redoing the Candus Never series. If you were following along, you know that I ran into some research problems, and so we're going to start with the opening clip, and I'll be providing you with clips from the three parts that I've already done where I did not have to make corrections, and then we'll move on going forward to the fall just before the Summer Wells Public Reward Fund Marathon. So here we go. Here's the opening clip.
Good morning. I'm going to run some of the comments that made up that composite in the thumbnail and let you see them. And then we're going to discuss Candus Never, ... Therefore, she's fill in the blank. These are examples of the kind of comments I see every day when I'm out doing research. People stating an opinion and then automatically passing judgment based on their opinion. I don't have any problem with people having opinions. I certainly have my opinions. However, when your opinions are stated as facts and they get repeated over and over and over again, we end up with something like what's up on the screen. And just as an aside, Candace Wells did not hire the behavior panel to put her through what she went through during their analysis. So I just went out and went to a bunch of different sites that had videos and looked at the comments section to gather these comments. Sites ranging from WJHL to Ken Mains, the behavior panel obviously, and others. I only took from the top comments, not the newest comments, section in each video I looked at. And I purposefully did not include supportive comments because it's the supportive people who are being criticized by this group that we're going to look at. So, the first one is the obvious one. Candus never searched for summer. Well, Don Wells, CathyTheFriend, Candy Hair, Jody Sue Brown, Fred Hill's friend, and Andy Bernard all say she did search on June 15th, 2021, and that's a pretty wide group of people when you think of their perspectives on this case. And after that, CathyTheFriend said they did go search, she and Candace, and passed out flyers. And well, okay, after that, what happened? Well, here's something that we've heard told to us that Ellie discourages parents from being out in the initial searches, and here's the documentation for it. This is from Chapter 1, the first page of the handbook written by parents of missing children for parents of newly missing children. Summer's initial search lasted 13 days, and you may recall Candace saying she was told not to go out and search with the searchers because it's too upsetting for parents to potentially find their loved one deceased.
I want to just stop right here and interject something. Look at what the paragraph that's circled, what it says. You may find that the information in this guide is overwhelming right now. If so, ask family members, friends, or other support persons to read it for you. Have we ever heard Candace say she was overwhelmed or stressed or unable to cope in the first week after Summer went missing? Why, yes. Yes, we have. And CathyTheFriend has said so, Don Wells has said so, and others also have said so.
So what was Candace doing if she wasn't searching? And also, I should point out that CathyTheFriend has firsthand knowledge of the situation starting June 17th because she went to help Candace take care of some business. Candace herself told us, and also Don confirmed, that she was very upset. She couldn't sleep. She was crying a lot. She had to answer questions from law enforcement coming to her door constantly. So, and she had people all over her property. So did she pass her polygraph or not. Well, WJHL reports on the 23rd, which is a week and a day later, that Don reported Candus passed. Now that's hearsay in a court of law. For Don to tell WJHL is hearsay unless he was with her.
Hi, future me or current me again. Show me where on this map there is public property that Candus could have gone and searched herself or with family or friends where she didn't have to get permission to go on the property. I'm going to suggest to you the only places she could have gone is up and down public roads. Let's continue.
In that same article, WJHL quotes him as saying, "My wife just left the district attorney's office with the FBI and she passed her lie detector test," Donald Wells said on Tuesday. Then they told her to hurry down to the command post. They had just received a tip. 2 days later, on June 25th, WJHL reported that Candus had released a gallery of photos, everything she could find at the time with Summer, as well as on that day, she released some TikTok videos. So all in all, in that first 8 or 9 days, Candus has taken and passed her polygraph test despite being very upset. She has gathered photos and videos for law enforcement and released them to WJHL to help in the search. She has also at least once gone with Cathy to take care of some business early on. She's fed her children, done her laundry, and maybe tried to pick up her house after having law enforcement come traipsing through it a couple of times by then. Oh, and let's not forget the puppies and the pregnant cat.
Dramatic pause.
This is part 2 of Candus Never. Part 1 aired Saturday night around 7, and thank you again to a handful of subscribers who put that video at number 1 on my back office lists. I appreciate that very much. So we're going to look at June and July. We've already looked at June as far as the activities of Candus during especially that first week. It was very busy, but we're also going to go back to June a little bit because I skipped all the prayer vigils.
Future me here again. Here's an updated view of that calendar, and every time you see it in white, you'll know that I have updated it. You'll notice that on the 16th there are some timestamps where WJHL's timeline of the search for Summer Wells has when the Amber Alert was upgraded and some other details.
The first prayer vigil was held in Rogersville at the United Methodist Church, and Don and one of the boys attended that prayer vigil. Candus and the other children did not. The second prayer vigil was held by the Wells Home Church, the Seventh-day Adventists in Kingsport, and it was their regular church day, but they devoted most of the service to prayer for Summer and the family and searchers and so on and so forth. What would motivate Candus to do all these things, release the pictures and the videos? Well, Daryl DeBusk of FBI Card Team released a statement to WJHL on that Thursday, so that would be a week and a few days after Summer went missing. That strongly suggests to me that while the card team was there, they talked to both Don and Candus as well as the boys. We know they talked to the boys. So all this activity is to give the card team the tools to make their determination. Also, on June 25th, Candus and Candy Hair released their first joint statement, and they quoted, WJHL did, Candy Hair, quote, "Bring my grandbaby home. She is a lovely baby, and we're so thankful for everyone looking for her. We yelled and looked for her as much as we could. She's just gone. It's devastating." On the 13th day after Summer went missing, Candus sat down with Don Wells and did her first on-camera interview. Those 2 weeks that you guys can't understand why it took her so long, maybe now you can understand why it took her so long. She was a very busy woman, on top of being very upset about her missing child. This is a quote from that extended interview that we never see anymore because WJHL has cut it out of their published version. I wonder why it smothers her. Could it be because she couldn't catch her breath?
The prayer vigils at Borden Park started on July 6th, 2021, and met every Tuesday.
Josh and Sarah, Summer Wells has touched the lives of many here in the Tri-Cities and well beyond our region, especially after she went missing. But today, one man here in Kingsport held a prayer circle where Summer's family actually were the only ones in attendance, as well as a family friend. Although they didn't want to go on camera, they tell us events like this and this community support is what is getting them through.
In attendance with him, Summer's mother, grandmother, 2 of her older brothers, and family friend David Dotson.
The family, they need that support. A lot of negativity has been said, and it affects the mother, the father, and the children. And we just want to focus on getting Summer back.
The next prayer vigil that I could find a public record of was July 13th, 2021, and Candus and one of the boys attended that prayer circle. We see Candus 3 days later carrying a banner with Robin from church in the Fun Fest parade. This is also the same citywide festival where it is alleged that Allie and her children or friends yelled at Candus some pretty unpleasant things about Summer.
Hi, guess who? It's trivia question time. How far, plus or minus 1 mile, is it from Allie's house to Borden Park in 2021? Buckle up because reported dates in the news start to get a little confusing. This is a report from the 15th, but did this prayer circle actually take place on the 13th as I just reported?
Today marks 4 weeks to the day since Summer Wells was reported missing from her home in Hawkins County. This evening, people gathered to pray for her safe return.
News Channel 11's John Janko shows us the sights and sounds of tonight's prayer circle.
So anyway, during the correction video, I put out a request for help, and William Bowers answered me and gave me a lot to think about. William, you're my new favorite. Nobody's kicking you off your throne for at least 15 minutes.
Candus Wells attended the circle with one of her sons. She declined an interview this evening, but she did say that no law enforcement has contacted her this week. Members of the crowd offered their condolences to Wells.
Here's where things really start to get confusing. We're halfway through July, and you see the next scheduled prayer meeting should have been July 20th. However, on July 21st, a spokesperson with the Department of Children's Services confirmed that the department was involved with the Summer Wells investigation. With support from Robin, Candace Bly again attended the next prayer vigil on July 27th. But let's move on because there's more troublesome dates and publication notices.
This video that shows a wrong date twice for this prayer vigil.
Months, no answers still. 5-year-old Summer Wells has been missing for 7 weeks. Law enforcement officials say they are not giving up. A lot of sorrow, but still hope at a prayer vigil in Kingsport tonight. These vigils have been happening since last month. The organizer says he's been following the story since Summer was reported missing on June 15th. One woman who drove from Jonesboro to tonight's vigil gave a simple request.
For anybody and everybody that hears the story about Summer, take a minute and pray. You know, prayers are important.
Since Summer went missing, law enforcement agencies have received nearly 1,000 tips, but none of them have led anywhere.
Let's see if we can peel this back. If you remember, the arrow was pointing at a line that said updated August 1st, 2021. But wait, there's more. Look at the URL for that article. That's the direct link to the website that posted that article with the update date of August 1st. In the center, you'll see the date that the article was posted, and that is 8/11/2021. Now, as good as WJHL has been about coverage of the Summer Wells case, and I would argue the best in East Tennessee, they have dropped the ball on this one prayer vigil. They didn't report on it, or they may have embedded it in a different story. And the previous news station who did report on it and gave it, a wild date range is actually an East Kentucky station. What do you think I'm going to do?
Never mind what I was about to say, because Jamie Wilson, aka Jackhammer, has gotten us back on track. This is from his live stream of August 3rd, 2021, and notice the people in his clip. Notice what they're wearing, notice who they're talking to, because we're going to also view some clips from ZavGirl. And while I have this clip up, I want to say thank you to Jamie Wilson, ZavGirl, Aussie True Crime, Dee Presents, What Big Eyes, Dirty Laundry, and Valkyrie's Corner. Whether I use your clip or not, you all have been around since the summer of 2021, and you've not deleted any of your coverage. And for that, I sincerely thank you, because when I went to try and unwind the knots in the publication dates for print media and for web media, I couldn't have done it without your help. So thank you very much. Nailed it. There's Jamie Jackhammer's live stream date. Let's quickly move on to ZavGirl's presentation of the same coverage. Note that the date above her head is wrong by 1 day.
The community continues to offer support. There was a prayer vigil for Summer's safe return in Kingsport at Borden Park. It's become a weekly event. Tonight, Summer's father, Don Wells, was there for the first time. The man who continues to organize the prayer meetings told us he hopes Summer's family feels supported.
I'm praying she's appreciative, and I pray that she feels love when she comes to these events.
The event's held Tuesdays at 6 p.m. This one at Borden Park. It features music, testimonies, prayer, a lot of hopes that Summer Wells has returned home safely. If you have any tips that can help investigators as they search for this Amber Alert case, call 1-800-TBI or email tipstotbi@tn.gov.
Well, I want to thank you all, and I just pray, I hope you all keep us in our prayers, because I'm really under attack right now, big time from Satan. I mean, I feel like Satan took my baby.
This clip is from ZavGirl and WJHL. I believe later on in the clip, Timmy Etherton is filming, so the filming is very shaky and swings back and forth. I've made some cuts in here, and they're very awkward because Timmy isn't aware that the camera is still in his hand. In my opinion, he's too caught up in what's going on around him. So I apologize for the awkward cuts, and I want to say thank you very much to ZavGirl for preserving these early clips. This is from the prayer meeting on August 4th, 2021 at Borden Park. I also cut the sound out of this because in order to make these clips, it would have messed up the sound and made it very choppy, and it would have been a detraction instead of an enhancement. All of these clips are meant to show Candus, who was the primary one on camera in the last part of this. Remember, this is the Candus Never series, based on comments that have been made in varying places across YouTube and other platforms, saying that Candus never did this, that, or the other. The last prayer vigil that I have a record of before fall is on August 13th or 14th. I can't see up there. And Candus, I believe, attended by herself. There's no mention of Don there at all. And that was again at Borden Park, but it was on a Saturday morning. So normally the family would have been in church, but by now Candy Harrer has gone up to visit her sister and help her sister with her sick husband, or in Candy's case, brother-in-law. And the boys have also been removed by CPS. So as best we can tell, it's Candus by herself.
So here's a quick run through. On the 17th of June, Candus was with CathyTheFriend taking care of business. On the 19th, she went to the SDA church prayer vigil. On the 21st or 22nd, she takes and passes her polygraph. On the 25th, she releases a photo gallery, TikTok videos, and a joint statement with her mother, Candy Hair. On the 28th, she does her first on-camera interview with Don and Ansley Daniel of WJHL. In July, between July 6th and July 27th, on the 6th, Borden Park Prayer Vigil. On the 13th, the Borden Park Prayer Vigil. On the 16th, the Fun Fest Parade with Robin Lane. The 20th is unclear. And the 27th, the Borden Park Prayer Vigil, the last in July. And let's not forget, this channel invited itself to Tennessee and wanted Candus to go back to the horse pond, go through that part of the day, and then come home and go through the rest of the day while he was filming her house. August 3rd and August 14th were both Borden Park prayer vigils, and that's the last we have that we can document publicly in Borden Park. The ministry that had sponsored those prayer vigils appears to have moved them to an online forum. Then there were the twin prayer vigils. On Thursday, October 14th, 2021, the original group from Borden Park held a prayer vigil at Crockett Spring Park. And what we can only call the YouTube community, because they're the ones who organized it, held a prayer vigil at Warrior State Path Park on October 15th, 2021. Again, we have Jamie Jackhammer Wilson to thank for footage of the whole prayer vigil on October 14th at Crockett Spring Park. And if you can say there are any good memories that come out of a tragic, heartbreaking situation, it would be the time I spent with Libby driving down to Warrior State Path Park and walking around with her on her live stream. Just her and her phone giving commentary on all the things that had been sent down to Warriors Path Park for that vigil. Thank you so much, Libby. I miss you. So what about those vigils? Why wasn't Candus at the October vigils or the summer vigils or the birthday vigils? Why is it that Candus is only shown remembering summer with Don and occasionally Robin? Well, there's an answer for that. Recently, I had the opportunity to ask CathyTheFriend a couple of questions. The questions I asked her were about searching and vigils. And she said to me the same answer that we have gotten from law enforcement. She was not allowed to go search with the search teams for reasons we've already talked about. She was heartbroken that she couldn't go to any of the public vigils that were held either at Warriors or at Crockett Springs, much less the vigil that was held just this past summer at either Warriors or the other location. And the reason is it's for Candus' safety. Apparently, there have been enough serious threats to both she and Don that she no longer feels safe in public, and it doesn't matter who she's with. She's been followed by a YouTuber. She's had another camp of YouTubers trespassing on her property. Kathy told us about a story where there was a woman who came from another state and literally walked into Candus' house twice. The first time the police were called, a trespassing complaint was filled out, and the woman was escorted off the property. Second time, not too many minutes later, she walked into Candus' house again, unannounced. So you tell me, if you're not safe in your own home, up on a hill, out in the middle of nowhere. This concludes the Candus Never Redux. Candus did go cooperate with the police. They never had to pull a warrant for anything. She went to prayer vigils. She did pass out flyers. And then the threats started. So there it is. It's all laid out for you, publicly documented, so you can find it for yourself. Thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate it. God bless you, and I hope to see you real soon.